Hey, 1776 Forever Free here. Dr. Cordie Williams and Chris Lippe. How you doing today, Doc?
I'm doing good, doing really good. Really excited about what we got coming up and what's coming down the pike and really the future of this organization.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the first time you and I have been able to get together and really kind of talk a little bit about, the organization itself, what we're trying to do, what we're putting together, and so we want to take a few minutes just to kind of go through that a little bit. And this all started, during this time of crazy challenges that we're all faced with, and we saw friends of ours, our own businesses affected, et cetera. And we thought, well, what can we do? And so 1776 Forever Free kind of was born. Why don't you, just tell everyone a little bit about what is our mission? What are we doing and why?
Well, Chris, it's really about freedom and choice. And it's just the whole idea that, in times like this where everything is, appears to be very divisive and people can't really agree on anything, this pandemic that's out there, I just thought, and I know, in talking to you, you kind of just thought that it'd be a great time. What if we could start a movement where it was inclusive and everybody was involved, where it wasn't about your skin color. It's not about what faith you worship. It's not about your political party, whether you're red or blue or in the middle, right? But more like, do you bleed red, white, and blue? And that's kind of what fostered this.
Yeah, no, and you and I both feel that way. I think everybody can have their own individual feelings, whether it be in a political party or supporting certain initiatives. That's not what this is about. This is about, 1776. There's a Constitution, a Bill of Rights. There's things that provide us certain things, and we just felt that they were, being trampled on a bit, and we needed to stand up and really kind of have a communication or some sort of communication about this. And so that's really what we are. We're trying to grow this thing on constitutional rights and just give you those basic things. If you want to choose to be, whatever, you want to choose to go to whatever school you want to go to, that's up to you. But at least you have the choice and the freedom to choose. And that's where some things are being taken away. Being told without, really good concrete, evidence of things that you have to do certain things. Today I saw someone put a face covering on going into a store, and it was literally a cutout, but it still was cut, like fabric around his face as kind of a joke to this thing. And technically it's a face covering. Have they ever said what type of face covering? No, it just hasn't gone that far
Yeah.
to be able to actually have some, true reason behind this. And so that's kind of, where you and I kind of came together, and, and we've been friends for a while, and knowing that, that we both, bleed red, white, and blue. And you were a Marine. I've never been in the military, but I am very respectful of, all forces or all branches of the armed forces. My brother was a captain in a fire department, so I'm extremely supportive of fire departments. A lot of law enforcement in the family. So I think there's a lot of, really good things here that we're supportive of, and there's a lot of support that we've seen, come our way with this. So that's kind of, who we are, is 1776 Forever Free. And anything you want to add to that before we kind of, I know a couple topics we want to touch on just really quick.
To your point that we've always been in alignment that way. So this was a really good fit for you and I to take our friendship into this patriotic organization. I'd also say that, man, you've been such a supporter for military members and service members and all that. So, I always say people are serving just from a supportive capacity, right? Because it's good patriots that move the needle on this stuff. So that's why, I'm just, I feel blessed that we're not only partners as friends, right? But we're partners in this organization and really changing this thing and shifting the movement together.
Yeah. It's funny, and you talk about an organization, and this has been, something daily that we've been engaged in, 5 a.m., talking about before we go to our work day. And then we do our work day, 8 or 9 to 5. And then we do this at night and kind of work on some things and so forth. But if you think about it, this has only really, kind of been born for us doing this, a few weeks.
Yeah.
And we've got a really, really cool event coming up Saturday. You want to tell everybody about this? Everybody's heard about it because, this is going to end up on social media, and you've been on all kinds of different outlets from news and, those sorts of things. But let's talk a little bit about this Saturday, May 23rd.
Well, first of all, I guess what I'd start off by saying, I just had the idea one day, what if we took all the small rallies and we had one big rally? And I kind of, got Dr. Billy DeMoss's ear and I said, hey, Billy, what do you think about this? He's like, yeah, we got to go bigger. We got to go bigger. And then I talked to you and you said the same thing. And then I talked to Lee Dundas and she said the same thing. So, I kind of said, hey, Lee, let's get 8 groups together of people that are doing these smaller rallies and let's do one big, huge rally. And so, a group called the Freedom Angels came together, our group 1776 Forever Free, this amazing woman named Vivian that runs Live Free, the Live Free movement. And we just had a new edition of Dan Summers. And then Dr. Billy DeMoss has been really mobilizing the chiropractic sector and the CalJam sector. And then, of course, with all your ties, it kind of just took a big mass of like-minded people, put them together, and coming up this Saturday, May 23rd, in front of the Capitol, we all kind of collectively made the decision that, hey, let's have a big party in Governor Newsom's backyard. So,
so May 23rd, starting about noon. There's no official timestamp here, but starting at noon at the Capitol in Sacramento this Saturday, May 23rd. And we've got some really cool things. And you mentioned the Freedom Angels, and they've been like huge in helping us with this.
Absolutely.
I think they formed back in like 2015, and I've had a chance to talk to each of them now a little bit, and they do great work in their space, and they have a lot of really good experience. So we can kind of learn. We're a few weeks into this, getting our so forth, and Dan Summers, I haven't met him. Well, actually, I met him probably 30 years ago through my brother, because he was also in the fire department. But I haven't spoken to him in a long time, so I'm looking forward to that on Saturday. But back to the Freedom Angels really quick. I mean, the logistics, the setting things up, they do a great job with this. And so a lot of work is going into this. And I think that those 8 groups is now probably, from the other people that we've reached out to, it's probably nearing 18 or 20 different groups that we're either doing maybe a small event on that Monday and they've moved it to Saturday at noon, just so that we can have a sheer, large audience out there, so that it can be seen, because people need to see. They need to know what's going on. And again, this is not if you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian. It says everyone. It doesn't matter, what your beliefs are. Come out so you can have those beliefs and share them. So Saturday, I think, is going to be a tremendous day. It's supposed to be a little bit warm up in Sacramento, mid 80s or so. If you believe in sunscreen, bring some sunscreen. Your forehead there might get a little burnt, Doc.
Maybe right where the backwards hat is, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to touch on that a little bit, because this thing kind of born after you had a moment in the spotlight that happened on May 1st. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because that's been a big catapult with, millions and millions of views of something that was captured on video. And it was at a rally that you were at in Sacramento. And I want you to just take a couple minutes and kind of talk a little bit about, what you saw there and what transpired and what happened and so forth. And I know there's been tremendous outpouring of support and thanks. But I just want to talk a little bit about that. So why don't you tell us about May 1st, why were you there and that sort of stuff, and fill us in.
Yeah, well, one of the blessings that's come out of it, but before I really get to the story, is how many people just as a group that we've mobilized, but like this movement of what happened with the video, the outpouring and the different people that are, the hundreds of thousands of people that, just because of that moment in time have been moved, touched, and inspired to, come to the Capitol in Sacramento. And they've reached out to us organizationally to really say, hey, we want to help. We want to contribute financially. We want to come up there with our time and our bodies. But, and that morning of May 1st, it was fascinating because, it kind of started out really, really peaceful day. I was partnering with the Freedom Angels, like I have so many times. And, we were up there. We got to the Capitol early, around 8:30, 9 a.m. There's guys in fatigues. Everybody's chilling, talking. Probably about 50 officers there. And then it quickly escalated to around 11:30, the contact we had there came up to us and basically said that they were going to be lining up like 200 guys in front of the Capitol steps, and they didn't really say what they were going to be doing. But then we all kind of moved up there, and then there was a baton picket line that started to be formed. We started to get pushed back. And, without making the story too long for our viewers, within a very short period of time, we went from DEFCON 1 to guys in visors and masks slamming folks to the ground, in particular the Freedom Angels, arresting them. The day after this event, they actually called me with contusions on their body and bruises and all that, and they wanted me to evaluate them. I instructed them to go to a medical doctor, but from my viewpoint, I totally saw, them just being manhandled. And then, the Starship Troopers come up in their full riot gear. We escalate from probably 100 officers to what would be at the end of the rally or event, to probably 600 or 700. But we were flanked by the riot gear police, and then there was a riot gear police force in front of us. So there were 400 in there. After these three girls got slammed, they ended up probably arresting 32 people by the end of it. Okay. But as they proceeded to push us back past the Capitol steps in full riot gear, I was right next to Pastor Tim Thompson, and probably, not standing more than, a half a foot away from him, quarter of a foot, really, really close to him. And from my vantage point and what I observed, I saw like 5 guys just being really, really rough with him, like pulling him and yanking him and forcibly moving him into their lines. And then he kind of disappeared. And I thought I had seen part of his shoulders go down, like he was thrown to the ground. And I can just remember, Chris, feeling like very angry. Like I can remember saying on camera, and somebody caught a video of this on my phone, I believe, Miss Gina, who was a security there, caught a video, and I said, I'm ashamed to be an American. I'm ashamed to be an American, because I love police officers. I respect them. I take care of some of them in my office. I love the Army, the Air Force, as of course, the Marine Corps, the Navy, firefighters. And to see that they were ordered to do that, and nobody really just, I guess, had the opportunity to take a second. And I know they're in a difficult place because they're getting this order from the governor and he's telling them what to do. But then they also took an oath. So kind of in the heat of all that and seeing my friends get thrown to the ground, I did the only thing I knew how to do. And I just responded on the megaphone, really just trying to reach these guys. It kind of seems like, just from different perspectives, obviously the police officer in the Northwest, Greg Anderson, he's been really supportive of, the video. But I know there's some other officers that were offended by it. And, I just want to kind of publicly say that was never my intent to offend any officers. I was merely the guys that had thrown down my friends. I was just merely trying to reach them to say, hey, come on, guys, do we really need to do this? Is this really necessary?
Yeah. Yeah. So it sounds like, like you said, you just kind of, innately started to act. And it wasn't that you were, and I've seen the video and I've watched through it, and, in the heat of the moment, sometimes things are said maybe a little bit different, maybe something's a little bit crude. And I think you joke about, some of the language and so forth. And, you were a Marine. I mean, not that that's an excuse for it, but sometimes reality. No. So were there things that were being done by the crowd that were provoking, some of the aggression, or was it more that they were just trying to disperse the people, and in that is where people started going to the ground and so forth?
No, they wanted us to move back off Capitol property because a day before the permits had been pulled, and we don't even need a permit for that. So it was peaceful protesting, but it really appeared that the Freedom Angels and Pastor Tim were being targeted. And that wasn't my observation. That was more their observation that occurred and that it happened that way. But and I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have firsthand knowledge of that. I just know what I kind of heard through them. But it just kind of appeared that they were kind of targeting them, and they felt like because they were taking a stand that the movement or the protest would fall after they fell, so to speak. That's kind of the way I saw it, and it kind of ended up working out that
Yeah,
way, actually.
that makes sense. I mean, now that you just said that, because I've kind of wondered, like, was there something going on, that was provoking it? But it makes sense that if, there was a certain leadership group and you can get them to be arrested, then the rest will just disperse and kind of
Yeah.
give up.
Yeah. And I want to be clear. I know, an officer wakes up every day and he just wants to serve his country. I guess just me as a Marine, having taken a very similar oath, I just know that I couldn't ever do or give the order to do what happened that day. And,
Right.
and, people have to do the best they can,
Yeah.
and so I guess it's one of those things that you have a paycheck, you have a family, but on the other side of that, you kind of have an oath. So, I can see both sides of it, but I mean, definitely in the moment, I'm always going to be there for the women and the children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back just really quick, we were talking in the beginning about 1776 and kind of what it means to us and what we're looking to do. And, you've got two young children. I've got two in college, and, so at different places in their life, but this is for them.
Yeah.
The day that, we're not here and they're in these shoes, and, we want to show leadership, and we do that through our actions.
Yeah.
And, you had a chance to step in and help out to help diffuse. I mean, things might have been already been, being diffused. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it definitely helped and, smoothed things over. I want my kids to see that in what we're doing here, so that this can carry forward to them, because when we're not here, if we don't rise up and stand up now, what's the future going to be like?
Yeah.
And so we've got to instill this in the young ones, like your little ones, all the way up to those college students that are out there. And these are some basic rights and freedoms that we have, and we just can't give up on them. It's they're being taken advantage of. And I, hear about the story, and I've watched the videos, and I know you, Doc. I've known you now for years. I know that you have no malice in your heart. You were not there to try to intimidate anyone on the megaphone. You just wanted things to be peaceful, and you did what you needed to do in the way you know how to do it. And I appreciate you for doing that. So, like you said, as far as to those that, some have said that, they were a little bit upset. There's others that have been extremely positive. And I know that, Greg Anderson and others that have reached out and, been very thankful, for what you did there. So there's always two sides, but ultimately we just want to make sure everyone knows that, like, this is all peaceful, and this Saturday, it is peaceful. Like, there is no room for, issues to happen. That's not what we're looking for. We don't want that. We want people to come out. Let's talk more about this event, because Buzz Anderson's going to speak, and, getting to know him a little bit, man, this guy is awesome. What a Spitfire, huh? And
Patterson, I knew what you meant, though. You said Anderson, but it was after you talked about Greg Anderson. So that's right. But it's okay.
But
okay. He gets it. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Buzz Patterson.
Well, I can't wait to, for all of us to really get together and break some bread together, because he's just, man, salt of the earth guy, just beautiful. Like, I always say mashed potatoes and gravy. You know what I mean? He's just like, what you see is what you get. He's a good old boy, and Lieutenant Colonel, retired, U.S. Air Force. Pretty sure he flew jets. He was in 5 different war areas. He's written 3 different New York Times bestsellers. Okay. And he carried the nuclear football for President Clinton. And I didn't know this, Chris. Like, when you carry the nuclear football, you literally have a bedroom in the White House right next to the President of the United States. He slept right next to Bill Clinton, right, for 2 years. And now he's running for a position to protect our country, and I mean, the guy is just what you see, what you get. And he really understands our mission here at 1776 Forever Free. Yeah. He's all about freedom and choice. He's not about controversy, and, he's not about red or blue or anything like that. He's just like, hey, are you American? And he totally agrees that he thinks that we should have rights. Like, we always have rights. Even in a pandemic, we should have rights.
Right. It's funny when you think about trusting people, and I guess that's someone that I trust. If we were trusting him to carry the nuclear football, I think we're in pretty good hands.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So on the entertainment side of this, we want it's Memorial Day weekend. And so there's a whole host of different speakers coming out that some of the other groups have put together. And I don't want to mention any names that are, going to maybe be mistaken. So the ones that you and I have, pretty much kind of lined up and brought out. And there's a really nice music act, little free concert in the park on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about?
Well, another down-to-earth guy, and another really down-to-earth guy, and his story is so inspiring and so interesting because early 2000s he came up on Nashville Star, after which he grinded in Nashville for a couple of years and then went to Texas, sold a bunch of albums there, and then it's my understanding then he came out to LA with a huge following, and really started like, I call it even like a country R&B, country rap type thing. The guy's got a beautiful voice. He's got a beautiful heart. And again, just another salt of the earth kind of, mashed potatoes and gravy type of dude, just like so awesome. And so Coffey Anderson, I destroyed his name a couple of times. So now I got it down and we become buddies, but just a lot of fun. I interviewed him the other day, Chris, and we were just laughing the whole time. He's hysterical. He's hysterical. He's a good time.
What I see in this guy is, like you said, he's that salt of the earth, much like Buzz. And that's who we want to surround ourselves with. That's the people that, are here. They understand that there's a constitution and that there's some really basic freedoms that we need to stand up for. And Coffey is not, political. He's not sitting out here. He just wants to come out and play. He has an awesome song, which, I've seen the video and watched it. And if you're listening to this right now, go find it. I think it's on YouTube probably somewhere and one of our somewhere, but I think it's called Mr. Red, White, and Blue.
Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable.
And, dude, I wake up in the morning, I flip this thing on and I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
It's really cool. You guys got to check it out. Give it a spin. Good tune. So he's going to play on Saturday in the afternoon, kind of as we're getting ready to wind down or close down the day. I don't know the exact length of time, but come out, listen to him. If you're in the area, if you're in Sacramento and you don't have anything to do on Saturday, or even if you do, you got to change your plans.
Yeah.
You got to come out to this, show your support. This is America. We can't let it just dwindle away. And so come out, little music, bring a sandwich, whatever it is you want to do. Like we said, it's going to be peaceful. We're there to let people know that we have a voice, and that voice needs to be heard, and Governor Newsom, and again, I don't want to get too far down the road on this, but, he really needs to listen. He has constituents, people that have put him there, and he's making unilateral decisions right now. And those things need to change, and you need to come out and be heard, be seen. So May 23rd at noon, Capitol.
I love it. Yep. Right on 10th Street. We're going to have a nice little Memorial Day party right in Mr. Newsom's backyard for sure. Yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Quick, you mentioned his name earlier, but Bill DeMoss has been awesome. He's a chiropractor down in Newport Beach and runs one of the largest chiropractic events. And it's really, been great to have him, supporting. We're all friends anyways, but he's been amazing, rallying troops. There's people coming in from Georgia, Michigan, Illinois. Today I heard someone from Connecticut.
Wow.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to take one more second and tell you a short story that you don't know about yet, that happened today. So in the backsides of social media, people can reach out to you, et cetera. A young man reached out to me. His grandmother is in a nursing home in Connecticut, Hartford, Connecticut. And she saw your video, was moved by it, had her grandson track us down, and she is sending us a donation. She's in a wheelchair, can't be out. She's sending a small donation. I don't know how much. It doesn't even matter. It could be 50 cents. The point is, she took the effort to go through and track us down and say, look, I want to be part of this. She goes, I don't want to lose my country. And I was tearing up when I was reading this message.
I'm tearing up as you're telling me, bro.
And, so I want to get more information, from her and try to reach out to her tomorrow. But I couldn't believe, how moved I was to read that message from her grandson. And and we're hearing that kind of stuff. There's a huge group coming out from Florida, to where they've pretty much taken like half of an airplane, and they're coming. So,
I love it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to have a good time. But also there's a serious point to this, is that, we need to let people know they need to be heard. We need to be heard. So thanks for what you're doing, man, getting out there and look,
likewise, man,
you're going to get things on both sides. People are going to, love and hate and all this different stuff. You and I are, both, men of Jesus, and, really kind of, live a life that way. And you don't have to be. You could be of any faith. We want you out there. This is solely about the rights that you were given by being an American. So come join us,
Chris. And I'm going to say one last thing. It's interesting you say that about talking about the Lord, because this morning, and I don't know if I told you this or not, but I literally had a pastor reach out to me, and he's bringing 40 to 100 pastors to this thing. And they're all going to be wearing suits, which I feel sorry for them because it's going to be really hot, right? I definitely don't want to be in a suit, but God bless these guys, right, for doing it. And, it's just amazing how when you get like-minded people to come together for a good cause, and the cause isn't about you, but it's about humanity, how like God just kind of like moves the mission forward, Yeah,
I love it. All right, man, let's wrap it up here, and we'll see everybody on Saturday, May 23rd at noon. Sacramento, California. Come on out, hang out with us. We'll be getting up there on Friday, the night before, afternoon before, and but come on out at the Capitol.
All right. God bless you guys. Have a good one, and we will see you May 23rd at the Capitol at 12 o'clock. Take care.